Good morning. Welcome to Lead Empowered. Today is August 8th, and I want to share the garden with you, what things are looking like. I did pull out some weeds this weekend, but I'm still feeling a little self-conscious about how crazy and out of order the garden looks. So it's so counterintuitive for me. It's time to start some seeds for the fall garden, and I don't like starting something new until the last mess is picked up, and so it feels really hard for me to start that. But also, if I don't start, then I'm going to miss the opportunity to have a lot of these things in the fall garden. So I want to show you some of the seeds that I've been planting and a few more ideas of things that you can plant. I'm in zone 6, and I do have a greenhouse, so don't discount yourself in a fall garden if you don't have a greenhouse. A lot of people make that comment to me like, oh, you have a greenhouse. Yeah, but there's a lot of things that can grow in the cold and that want to grow in the cold. So let's talk about that, and let me show you where the plants are and how things are growing. And yeah, let's get started. Okay, so starting in the berry patch, as always, the raspberries are pretty much done. You can see that they're just little shriveled up hanging-ons there. So we're done picking raspberries for this year, except what Kennedy wants to pick on for fun. Okay, so a little trick that I learned is when you pull weeds, to throw them back on the ground. The earth knows what it needs to heal, and so the weeds are actually beneficial. It means that it has some nutrient in it that the ground needs. So one key thing that I have heard is to make sure that those weeds haven't produced seeds yet, but I'm not really too picky about that. I mean, maybe I should be. I did throw some seeds in the fire pit here, but then I see that I have some down here too. So honestly, I feel like it's ground cover, and the ground is pulling up the nutrition from with its roots that it needs on the surface. And so when you pull those and you put them back on the surface, it's actually just putting those nutrients on the surface for the ground to access instead of being so deep in the soil. So these are our blackberries, and they are getting ready. These literally, these taste like candy to me. These are so huge and beautiful. This is so fun. I'll show you my fly trap here. So we just put the bait in the bottom. I've been doing some meal planning. We did chicken the other day. Do some chicken in there. Works great. This bed, I need compost. I need lots and lots of compost or manure or something. And I want to fill this another 6 inches and give it some good soft soil, because this soil was just from our, it's just topsoil. It's nothingness. I did put some leaves and stuff in it last year, but there's one lone onion. But yeah, you can't even pull stuff out without it breaking off like that. So this soil is just too hard, and I want this to be a root vegetable garden. So I did pull a bunch of weeds out here the other day. We still have our tomatoes in here and our peppers, and our what is that, potato back there. But yeah, I mean, this has tons of flowers. It seems like and there is some fruit on there, but yeah, I'm gearing up to get this transformed, which feels like a really big project, but I think that this is the time to do it, because we're going to miss out on switching it over to the window greenhouse if we don't do it quickly, because then we actually will need it for some of this stuff that I want to be growing in the fall. So yeah, we just have a lot of stuff dying here, just a lot of sunflowers tipping their heads, and I love that patch in the back though. Makes me so happy. You see how these pumpkins are starting to turn orange. They still have a while out here. These can still be out here until October. We're getting tons of cherry tomatoes every time I look out here. We get a little bowl every day, and it's super fun. It doesn't seem like a lot, because the ratio, like, there's one yellow one in there on that whole stem. But with how many tomato plants we have, it really adds up. So, this patch was looking kind of sad the other night. So I watered it for quite a while. My husband did pick a bunch of these ground cherries. I've never had these before. So this is what it looks like. And then this shell, you can see the ones on the ground turn kind of brown. Whoopsie. Turn kind of brown. And then, let's see if I can... My husband said that it tastes like emergency. So, yeah, this is just our little... Yeah, they do. They're very sweet. I don't know how to explain them. I think emergency isn't a bad description. Oh my goodness. Look how full that bee is of pollen. Isn't that amazing? Amazing. Our spaghetti squash is just doing so well. It's just full of squashes everywhere. I think this is the thing I'm most happy with out of all my squash plants in the garden this year. Let's go over here. Oh, last week, yeah, you can see it. There's like 3 to 5 bees on each flower. It is amazing. A lot of these flowers are male flowers. I think I told you this before. You can tell because there's only one stem. And I believe that is because this soil is very high in nitrogen because it came out of the chicken coop. So when soil needs, if it's too high in nitrogen, it only produces male flowers. The nitrogen grows the green, and I'm forgetting the other one, grows the fruit. So I might have to balance this. I think even just having it over the winter will help it balance out. But I'm going to add a lot of leaves and other mulch to this to kind of even it out. So, yeah, I mean, look at this. This is so beautiful. Oh. Yeah, this is all volunteer squashes. Our little pumpkin down there. We had a green pumpkin on the fence over there too. Oh, it's doing amazing. I just hear the bees everywhere. Look how packed full that lady is of pollen. I think it's beautiful. Okay, our blueberries are starting to get this discoloring on them. Oh my goodness, you guys, I'm gonna eat our first blueberry. Oh my goodness. Tastes like a blueberry. So cool. All right. I wanted to show you, this is the new growth on the fruit trees. So you can tell the new growth where this looks more woody, and then where this changes to more soft and green. So we've got a good 6 inches of new growth on that this year, which is really beautiful. And I am certain that the other trees are similar growth. The sun is right in our eyes, but here we are in the front garden, and these are the seeds. My daughter and I just got a bunch of those out the other day. We were out here for like an hour, and I think we did one little strand of those, so we still have a long way to go. But I do, radishes is something I need to remember. We need to get in the ground. So we're going to talk about some fall garden a little bit more, and I'll show you what I got going. But yeah, the sunflowers, you can see, I don't know if you've ever looked closely. Oh, see, a lot of something's eating these seeds already. And I want to cut a lot of these off, and I want to save some, but I will also give some to the chickens. So this top part is just like a blanket. It's like a little covering. And then the seeds are tucked inside there. You see that? And they're so beautiful. So beautiful. But the birds are attracted. So I need to start cutting those. I wanted to make sure that the seeds were fully developed, because if they're not, then they will not germinate. They don't have what they need to actually grow next year. And so I wanted to make sure that I was really letting them get fully mature. So a lot of these tomatoes, the plants just look thinner out here, as you could see in comparison to the back. They're not as hardy. I know I put the weaker ones out here in the first place, and then also I just think the soil isn't as good, and I don't think it stays as moist. So I think there's a lot of factors to them not being as quality. I need to start cutting some of this, the herbs. I think it doesn't feel like it's time to start wrapping up for the season yet, but I also don't want to let things go bad like I did last year. I missed out on a lot of my herbs that I could have tried. Look how big this is. This is as big as my hand. That's so crazy. And I know there's way bigger sunflowers, but okay, like this needs to be cut. This is lemon balm. These tomatoes, everything looks good. Oh, and I have a naturopath appointment today, and so he's so kind and generous to me, and I'm going to make him a basket of some of our fresh produce. So I'm very excited to share that. This side, seriously guys, has been so sad to me this year. We grew so much lettuce over here last year, and we had a smaller growing space. This is arugula. I should cut this. You can totally dry this. You can eat the flowers. They say it's kind of I don't even know if I've eaten this, like a bitter, spicy taste. So I need to harvest this and do something with it. And then my cabbage this is a way bigger cabbage than we got last year. That is really cool. You see that? Oh, okay, same thing. I mean, this is kind of bug eaten, but man, that's beautiful. So actually cabbage is something that I am going to plant seeds again, because it is a cool weather crop. This is the broccoli. It just didn't, you can just see it's bug eaten. So it needs cold weather. So I'll be planting broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, and I'll show you a couple more things real quick. These were the purple top turnips that I finally pulled up. I wasn't sure if we'd be able to eat them because it seemed like they had some ant tunnels in them. So I left them out here because I was being too weird about it. But I think I probably need to cut it open, and there's probably some viable meat in there. Okay, we call this our homesteading basement. It's partway underground. We do have a couple windows, but it's stays much cooler down here. But it's the perfect place in this season for growing the cold vegetables, because right now it's too hot to put a lot of this stuff outside. It needs a little bit of the cooler weather than outside to get them started, and then by the time they're ready to put in the ground in a month or 6 weeks, then the outdoor temperature will be lower, and so it'll be keeping it similar. So this is just to help them germinate and not get fried when they're just little baby sprouts. And then as the temperature is colder outside, they'll be happy to survive out there. And then that's when they'll need more space anyways. So let's look at what we got here. I don't even know if I can say this right. The Calabari. I honestly don't think that I've even had that. Rutabaga, I just learned, I read on the back of the package that it's like American purple top turnip. So I think it might just be a name for the same thing. it's all a learning experiment. Peppercress, never grown that before. It says it takes 2 weeks before you can start eating it. You can grow it in a windowsill. We're going to see green onion. I just learned this from just watching it, that it grew more happy, and it came up very early, like when it was still frosting for us here. So that wants to be in the cold, I believe. And I'm going to plant some. And as long as it matures, then it'll come back next year. The green onion is something, if you leave the bulb in the ground, then it will keep producing. Mustard. Oh, and I think I totally planted something else in here and I didn't label it. My husband did these carrots from carrots that we had actually eaten. So there's a lot of vegetables you can do this, where you cut off the top and then you put it in water. So things like lettuce, carrots, I think you can do it with onion. What else? Celery. So you just, that base part, like of the celery, you'd put the base in water, and for the thing like the carrot, you put the top in water until it grows roots. And then this is all new growth. There was no greenery on this when he put it in water. And then when it grows roots, you can go ahead and put it in dirt, and then it will grow another food for you. So peas, I actually took our peas from our garden. Here, let me show you. I had some peas in the back that just got so big, and they went kind of like crazy. And I wasn't picking them as faithfully. They were kind of mixed in. Look at how gorgeous those are. I mean, those look bigger than peas you get in the store, in the packet. So beautiful. Okay, so we replanted our own peas, and I'm hoping that they will grow. If they don't, I think it'll be fine. I could put a couple seeds directly outside. We'll see. And then lettuce, I did do a ton of lettuce. We didn't get lettuce. I mean, last year we got lettuce all summer because it's on the east side of the house, and it was shaded, and it was gorgeous. Like, we got so much lettuce last year, and that's something that I've really missed this year, because we put something green in every meal, and so I just really feel like I've missed out on that this year. So it's not too late though. And then kale, we did grow a couple kale this year under the pumpkin trellis, and so that went really well, and I'm hoping that we can get another batch of kale. Apparently I didn't cover up these seeds last night when I put them in here. So some of them I didn't. And then we have spinach. So I've never successfully grown spinach. I planted our lettuce patch 3 times outside this year, and none of the times they grew. So and I did plant kale, spinach, lettuce, like all of it. So I'm super disappointed with the lack of greens, but I do think that we are getting back into the season where they're going to be happy to grow and not struggle so much. So anyways, I guess that wraps it up for right now, and we'll check back in next week. And I would love to know what you guys are growing in your fall garden. I know you could do carrots, and some of this stuff you can leave in the ground through the winter if you mulch it. And we're gonna do more beets. Oh my goodness. Okay, hold on, we're not done. I have this whole bucket of things that I'm gonna direct sow outside. So this is another summer squash, which takes like 41 days, super quick. So we still have time to replant that. This takes 50 days, so we're getting close to that, but I think we're gonna have a long summer because we had such a long spring. So you can just look at the backs of these. That's 50 days. So you just count back from the estimated frost date, which some people say is October 15th. I've heard November 1st. Like I said, I'm kind of going on the longer end because we had such a long spring. I'm hoping that summer will hold on a little bit. So you would count from the first anticipated frost date. So we're on August 8th, September 8th, November 8th. So we're less than 60 days. So 50, 52 days or something like that. So that would be estimated. So anything 50 days or under, which that's 50 days. beans, I didn't even see the date on this. I just heard that throw in another batch of beans. That says 65 days. So it would be a gamble, but I have so many bean seeds and a lot of these are older. So if they somehow I wasn't able to get a full harvest out of them or something, I think I wouldn't be too disappointed because I have a lot of backup bean seeds, and like I said, these are older, so you know, it's not a guarantee that they are going to germinate anyways. Zucchini, 50 days, do it. And then a ton of beets. I want to have a good beet harvest this year. And then stuff like the hollyhocks. So anything that needs a stratification period, which is it needs the cold to come in the spring. It's getting time to start planting some of that. Some of that you could wait until September, but so like garlic, I'll probably wait until September. But these flowers, like get the bulbs, get all the bulbs, your flower bulbs, your flower seeds that need stratification, because if you think about it, there's a lot of flowers that have produced and they're ending right now. So in nature, the sunflowers I showed you are ending. In nature, they drop their seeds and then they come back next spring when it's warm enough for them to do that. I was shocked how early I saw sunflowers at someone else's location this year, because they had put them, like they naturally let them fall in the fall time. And so they weren't planting them in the spring. So my sunflowers were actually later than some places because they will survive over winter just fine outside in the snow. And then they will come up with nature when they're ready. So that's a really cool thing. I'm going to do that this year. I'm planting sunflower seeds directly right now instead of waiting until spring. And you know, I noticed that even with pumpkin seeds, which pumpkins to me are a more fragile plant. They don't like being transplanted as well. They're just a little bit more picky about water and stuff like that. So I didn't think they'd be one that lasted very good over winter. But my pumpkin seeds that came up voluntarily, just from being outside all winter and were already in the ground, are the strongest pumpkin plants I have. So who knows, maybe it'll be an experiment this year of actually going ahead and planting what I want for my pumpkins, my squashes in the fall, and watch them come up in the spring. I don't know, we'll see. But lots to think about and lots to consider getting planted. And yeah, lead empowered, grow food, you can do this. It's never too late and it's never too early to start. All right, we'll talk to you next time.